Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I have a mentor. I think I can call you a friend. Is
Yes,
that
of
fair?
course.
Okay, just
Come
want to make
on.
sure. I want to open this with Wendy. What's the most interesting way someone has said your last name? Like, what's the most out of pocket? You're like, only one time, maybe twice, someone has pronounced your last name this way. What is it?
Oh, okay. Well, this is actually a true story. So it's Belanger.
It
Okay.
sounds so rich.
Belanger. So I thought it was gonna be so good. I get Bellinger, Belanger. But the biggest one I ever got one time is I was going out on stage and we always say to the AV guys, like, say my name. And he's like, what? I go, just say my name because everybody says it wrong. I just want to get it right now. And he goes, Belanger. And I was like, good job, buddy. And so I gave him a high five and whatever. And I was like, because everyone F's it up all the time and I'm sick of it. And, whatever made this big stink. So anyway, we're about to go on stage. It's myself and Darren Pena. And literally, the guy says to, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to, and his voice is getting lower, to the stage, Darren Pena and Wendy Bolognese. And I look at Darren and Darren goes, well, you're officially a sauce. And I died. And so I came on the audience. I couldn't even do my opening. I go, what happened? He goes, I'm sorry, I choked. I got so stressed out when you came up to me at the beginning. So that is actually the worst one ever is Bolognese.
So the same guy that nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I went on and on about how everybody messed it up. So I think he got in his head.
Another one that I might say is that in person, he went with something.
Yeah.
And then because you have a strong personality.
I do.
Right?
I do. I came in hot for sure.
You might have elevated him for the moment. And then when you separated from, he's like, I lost it.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. But yeah, no, I get all of it, but it's Belanger.
not a sauce.
No, not the sauce. No.
The thing that I was curious to, I was like, I wonder if anyone just got lazy and they're like, balayage, right? Or they went that direction with it.
Yeah. Well, someone said to me, are you just trying to be bougie? Like, is it just when people talk about Target, they say Target?
Yeah.
And it's like, are you being bougie? I'm like, no, it's actually Belanger. No. But yeah. Anyway.
Strong.
There it is.
Strong name. I was wondering where that was going to go. All right. So, hey, first out, thanks for giving us a moment.
Of course.
The timeline, I just went through it with you in the time that I've known you. I've got to watch you do a ton of things. Most recently, though, I want to celebrate you. I remember on our COVID calls and you just said like we'd be working out in the morning together, right? And on these Zooms and you were so great about it. I think it was so funny. I think I looked it up. Like the first note that I have for you is to let me know the time zone difference, right? So when we had that conversation, I think I was what I believe was one of the first people that you shared when you wanted to open up another location, but a different location, right? And I think where I want to go with you today is you've had such a unique run within this industry and the amount of things that you've done in taking the choice to invest in another space, different business model, right? Tell me about that experience.
Oh,
it's now a year old, right?
Yeah, it's just had a year birthday, just at the end or the beginning of the year, which is the worst time to open ever. But yeah, it's been a dream of mine forever that I wanted to do, and always in the back burner. Then of course COVID happened. I was looking to open something up, and then the whole thing happened with like people who were renting all of a sudden, when all of a sudden everything was closed, all these landlords were being difficult with tenants and with leases and things like that. And I own the unit that my salon's in right now, and so the unit that was a couple doors down was being sold, and I went I was like, maybe I'll buy this and I'll do it. So that's kind of where it came. And then that's where everything probably hit the fan, because it was just like, it was not an easy journey. But I can tell you it was the right thing to do. And it changed my whole career. Like, I think COVID changed my whole career, if I want to be honest. I don't like, for me, and I probably did share this with you, is because we used to work out together in the morning. We'd get on our workout machines, and I don't know what cameras to look at, but we would we would literally get a workout in the morning, 2 time zones away, and spend that time together. But COVID for me was a huge identity crisis because I went from being before COVID this famous hairdresser. I was on 90 planes a year. I was, landing, cars waiting for me, assistants, like all these things that I just became accustomed to that I thought was who I was. All of a sudden, yeah, it really, and that's how I identified. So I didn't have a personal life. I didn't have anything because I was so busy with my career. COVID happened. I'm now grounded. I can't travel. I don't have a clientele because I'm working only 6 days a month in my salon. So now I have to build a clientele. I have to stay home. I was like dating someone that all of a sudden I went and looked and went, what am I doing? Like it was a very humbling experience. And I think that it made me realize what matters, that it doesn't matter what I do. It matters who I am. It matters who I'm with, the people I surround myself with. And I feel like it really changed me to the core, which was the perfect timing to open this because it changed how I lead and my business model on how I want to grow salon professionals.
Yeah. So talk to me about that. How did you choose the name? How do you feel about the brand? What was that whole experience for you?
I called it identity. So my first salon is called Influence the Salon. And it's funny because that was before influencers came. And I don't know if I would have picked it now, but it's Influence the Salon, 23 years old. And then this one's called Identity, the Express Bar. And it's called Identity because it was like, how do you identify with beauty? There's no age, there's no gender, there's nothing about it. It's just how you identify with it. And so identity just seemed like the nice, it just was a good thing to go with influence. And then it's IN and then ID for the two. So yeah.
Super intentional.
Yeah.
How long was that journey? Like, did you have it in like, it was immediate, or did you have iterations of it and you're like, no, this is the one?
The name?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Identity came and then it was like identity what? Like it was at the Express Bar, was it the beauty bar? What was it? But I wanted something that went with influence because I wanted them to be two separate components, but still have a little bit of cohesiveness.
Yeah. What has identity taught you, shown you in the whole, like the actual, like now that it's running and the things of like, oh, like this is a cash flowing business, right? What has it taught you that has had this is funny, that's had an influence on influence? Yeah.
You know what the business model, how it works is that Influence is a full service hair salon. Identity is an express bar that does the services that you get done in between visits to the salon. So we do gray root touch-ups and we do blow dries. So women get touch-ups in the salon. They pay like $200. They are waiting and pushing it out as long as they can because they don't want to pay that money again. So as someone who colors her hair every second Friday, I was like, had I not had a salon, I'd be in trouble. So I wanted to create a place where people could go get their touch-ups done in between visits to their salon. So we do $48 touch-ups and $48 blow dries, which I know a lot of people will say, well, aren't you cannibalizing your business? You're not, because those women never would have come. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they'll go back to their own stylist at the 6-week mark. They just come and see us in the middle. And so it was such a good idea because that was the business model. The other side of it was growing salon professionals. So if you think about it, when we get associates as a salon, you know this, you can only have so many associates because they're expensive,
Yep.
right? They're overhead. And so you go and hire 2. You have to make sure that you have 2 hairdressers that are generating enough money to support having them. You train them. And sometimes you train them for almost a year, and then one of them will decide that they don't want to do hair anymore.
Yeah, they want to become a meteorologist or some nonsense.
Literally, nursing or dental hygienist.
Yeah,
is the
those are always
one.
the
Flight
common
attendant. That's another one. But yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, I invested all this time, and so what I thought was by opening Identity is I was hiring 10 people out of school, putting them in the beauty bar, getting them to do blow dries and touch ups, so their hands are in hair right away. Then all of a sudden, now I'm growing my future staff for Influence. Sounds like a good idea, right? No. So it is a good idea. But the problem is that the women who are coming and getting touches and blow dries are experienced women in the salon. Like they go to really great salons to get it done. So these girls knew how to do it, but they didn't have the confidence to deal with the woman because I'm that woman, right? I'm like the bougie woman that knows what I want. And I come in and I want to touch up and I ask all the questions. Well, these kids are just out of school. So it wasn't working. And it was anything but express. They were taking like 45 minutes to put a touch up on. So the business model was a good concept. I didn't go about it properly. So I learned a big lesson. So now they run off of each other. So when I first hire them, they come to Influence and they work alongside the mentors to get the confidence, learn how to do consultations, dabble a little bit in the beauty bar. Then they go back to the beauty bar, take their own guests. Once they build up and they're doing well, then they get opportunity shifts to go back into Influence. So that was a learning curve.
See, and it's so interesting because, and this is where I really appreciate this component of our relationship. I remember when we were on those workout Zoom calls, I literally think in some of them, like we both were like, I don't see it, but go for it, right? And you know, the thing that I think is so interesting is, had you not gone for it, you wouldn't have realized that, and you pivoted, right? Yeah. There's a book called The Pivot, and the part that I love is if we don't go for the thing and try, here's the part: it's never going to work exactly how you think, right? And the part I think that you have to be in the piece that is about being a great entrepreneur, in my opinion, is that ability to say, "Hey, gosh, I thought I was so right that I was wrong."
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And had that time with that identity crisis, right?
Yes, exactly.
This is good because
so good.
I'm usually not like this punny or funny. You just have it like totally set up well for me. The part though that I think is so interesting, and this is such a great thing for our listeners to hear, is like this business model is not easy, and even with the resources that you have. I mean, you can say your name in any country and people know you, right? That's the truth, right? Even with all of that network, you still can be wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? And then what? And then you modify and you figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Right? And there's so many people that will quit or die on that sort of like, no, it's going to be this way. All right. Hey, shameless plug. We want to continue to serve. Check out the App Store. Type in The Refined Network. It's available both on Apple and Android. Here's the thing. It's a way that we can continue to serve you. All of our podcasts, all of our digital resources, and our community is there. Here's the thing. We believe that we're better together. Back to the episode. The next place I want to go to is so now it really sounds like these two organizations, they really do fuel each other.
Absolutely. Now it's gotten to the point that, you know, I have a staff, I think we're at 16 maybe, and now everybody works together. And it's so great because they're actually in the same strip mall, which I didn't think I wanted to do. And so people have asked me, why didn't you put a beauty bar in the salon and just run in the salon? Well, women are loyal to their hairdresser.
Yep.
And so they won't go to another salon to get a blow dry or a touch up. They'll go to a beauty bar because it's not cheating. So I couldn't run them out of the same house. The first idea was to have it be about 5 blocks away at this place that I was renting. And then, like I said, with COVID, it changed. So it ended up being the same strip mall. And I thought that was like a weird thing to do. It is the best. It is literally 30 steps because I count it every time I walk it. And literally now I can do guests full time. Every single person that comes in that's a new guest, they will let me know. I find an opening in my day and I go over and I get to thank every single person that walks in to Identity for their business. That is one of the coolest experiences ever. And people are so surprised that I do it. I come over and I'm like, hi, I'm Wendy, I'm the owner. And they're like, I know that because we have a commercial that's on TV, but of course I don't. And I said, I just want to say, wow, thank you for coming. I go, okay, I have to go because I'm in the middle of a haircut. And then I'll get to run back over. And it's great. And then sometimes we'll be at the salon drowning because we're so busy. They'll go over and let the girls at the blow dry bar know. And all of a sudden, 3 girls walk in. What do you need? It's just like, it's honestly perfect.
So it sounds like it really has, there's this like synergy piece to it. And it's also been something that it sounds like from a cultural standpoint for the company, sounds like your culture is stronger.
Oh, Mike, I've never had a culture the way I have now. I've learned so much about leadership and about culture. And, you know, I've been a business owner for 23 years, and there's a lot of people that have worked for me that I wish I could sit down and go, I don't know if I handled that well, and I'm
Oh,
sorry, right?
gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's some people that I would sit down and go, I kept you way longer than I should have. And again, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Those are
You know what I mean?
it's one of two
Yeah.
buckets, I feel.
Yeah.
Right?
And it wasn't always that. It was, there's a couple times that I didn't listen to my gut. And then there's a couple times that I should have listened, you know? And
Yes.
so I've learned a lot from it, but this has really taught me about culture and about leadership, and it's really different.
So one of the things that I really appreciate about you is you're very intentional. I would say that you're also intense. Like
Yeah.
I think that like once you see it, you go. And it's like no one's gonna outwork you on
Yeah.
your way there, right? So if we think about this, because you know, Wendy and the experience prior to COVID, because obviously like you're working with a ton of people. Clearly there's going to be some, leadership that's built there. What would you say like in these last 5 years and in this experience specifically? Like what is the thing that you wish you could have said back to that old self of like, hey, this is really what leadership looks like?
I think I would have said, stop and breathe. Stop and breathe, because you have to remember, like, when I became artistic director of Pureology, I was young. I was offered the position. I didn't apply for it. I took it. I loved it. Best time of my
You
life.
crushed it.
I loved it. But it was a learning curve. And all of a sudden, like, predominantly an artistic director of a company is a 40-some-year-old American male, right? And I was a 30-some-year-old Canadian woman. Then all of a sudden now I'm here. I'm in this pool of people that I don't know, that are all looking, who's this girl? And now I have to be the leader of the company. And so I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out and doing whatever. And the one thing I can say is, people will say that I really cared about my team, like the Pureology team. I really cared about those people. But I think I was still trying to prove myself to the higher ups. And had I not worried so much about that and just breathing, going, what to do here, don't listen to that noise, and not disrespecting them, like it wasn't noise like that, but just if I would have just breathed a little and trusted, I think that's probably what I would say is, you know what you're doing. And now I feel like now in this place, I'm more grounded, right?
Literally was going to say the words.
Yeah, I feel way more grounded.
Yeah.
I feel humble, and I feel way better as a leader.
And do you feel then through that, like, I think, a person's ability is, it is our ability to influence, right? Whether it's influence change, influence best practice, whatever that may be, but by being more present and being where your feet are.
Yeah.
Right. And not listening to the narratives of like, okay, if you have investors, well, if you do the thing that you think they want you to do, how far are you moving away from the magic?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm kind of hearing in
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just trusting what I know. And I've always gone to people who knew what they were doing and good at to get guidance from them. But now being intentional about it and really listening to what I can get and learn from them, and then taking that part of it back into my company, I think has been a big part too.
Running into you last night, you're still you. You're still you, the you that I've always known. You're the you that I've known on the Zoom calls.
I was so excited to see you.
there was this piece though, like there was a calmness to it, and there was the higher connection intentionality. And I noticed that like straight off the way. And I think probably on my own leadership journey, to those same two buckets, man. Wow. The amount of time, and I've quieted those narratives because I've sorted out in my mind, like, I don't have to have that conversation. If it ever organically, the world ended up with me sitting next to one of them on a flight, I would love to just, take radical ownership. Right.
Yeah.
And or radical candor in the sense of like, hey, I allowed that for far too long. I was a weak leader. Right. And in those ways. Okay. So what's the question that people don't ask Wendy that you wish they would?
Honestly?
Yeah.
If I'm okay. No one ever checks in on me. And I'm not saying that from a point, I'm not being a martyr by any stretch, but it's like everybody just assumes that I'm You used to ask if I was okay. I know. Yeah. Yeah. You actually, not many, but you did. But we had a different relationship too. We had like a really great friendship. But I think that people just assume that because I'm a leader and I do have a strong personality and no matter what happens, like I can tell you this, Chris, when I was opening Identity, it was so stressful. I look back now and go, I think I was actually depressed. Like I was trying to buy a $500,000 building and then doing this reno. And then I had some issues with, some bad advice from a lawyer and blah, blah, blah. And it was really hard. But the funny thing is now that things have turned around and I've gone and told people the story of what happened, I have had people who are like wealthy businessmen going, how are you still here? Like, how are you sitting in front of me right now? And my staff are like, we never knew. We never knew. And I said, that's because I would be in the parkade at the in the parkade downstairs. I would sometimes turn off the car, tears are in my eyes, look in the mirror, clean it up, smack my face a little bit and go, it's you're on, it's like you're on stage. And I would go and I would just push through it. And then I'm like, there's time to be sad when I get home.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I think in the vulnerable moments of saying, like asking if someone is okay. So the one of my hobbies that's turning into more of a lifestyle thing now, I'm in a automotive drifting, right? And Jeannie, shout out Jeannie. She has a slogan. Her son took his life a number of years ago now, but she turned into this beautiful thing, which is check on your friends. And it's like hashtag to have it on all the drift cars and everything like that. And it is this thing of like, hey, like genuinely I care. And the second part of it is, you're exactly right. Like success makes people just think like, oh, you're successful, you must not be stressed. Like, no, it's a component of it, right?
Yeah.
And in some days, and especially in the space, like when you're leading a team and leading people, if you genuinely care, you are opting in. The things that you are opting in that you don't know that you're opting into that come with running a business for 23 years. Shout out on that. Right? Like it's something that I don't think a lot of people understand. And the thing is, at the end of the day, this was something I had to give myself grace for. I've walked through some interesting things, and I think my role, in my role as a male in my role, when I'm stressed, the narrative that could be taken out on people, right? That's something that I wish I could go back and clean up. And I commend you for it, because like having that level of control and awareness, that was something that I wasn't able to do. But knowing though, like to that question, like how beneficial and how powerful, because those simple words, are you okay? You might save someone's life.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's about.
Absolutely. I think that that's something that everyone should do, is just check in once in a while. And people say it flippantly. How are you? Right. And they don't mean it.
Yeah. It's like a quick passing. Like,
yeah. It's like,
do you have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
or you just keep walking. Got it. Neat.
Yeah. So I think
I'm okay.
If we ask, we have to actually ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get ready to be in the habit of like just like stopping and like sitting down on the ground. Like, no, you can talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and do this with a stranger sometime in the next month.
Yeah.
Hopefully in an airport.
Yeah.
Just like, are you okay? And if I can tell the look, like, hey, we can sit. I'll be with you.
Could you imagine?
Well, I'm going to do it.
You would probably have, please call me after.
Yeah.
Because you will have probably the most profound moment with someone, because you don't know people's stories.
Right.
You don't know, life is crazy.
It is. Well, I want to say, through those days and the time that you've instilled and the influence that you've had, literally, like, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your mentorship. You have done a lot of incredible things within the industry, and I'm just thankful for you and thankful for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been a really great to know you and to find that you're doing this and this like new life of yours. I'm like super proud of you, and to be able to be here and be a part of it means a lot to me. So thank you.
Yeah. I know you know this because you do it for people, but my business partner had called, and the amount of belief that he has within me, it's got me through some really dark days. So, hey, as when you see talent in someone and when you see that, communicate it, let them know.
Yeah.
I think it does a lot for them. So thank you for that. 100%. We don't look in the right mirror sometimes, I think. That damn thing is askew a little bit. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Hope this served. Wendy is incredible. You're a powerhouse. And the thing is too, like, I think that moment of vulnerability to everyone that is watching, like, it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. And it's also okay to say, like, I wish people asked if I was okay. That's powerful. You've served so incredibly strong. Hey, y'all, if you have any questions, complaints, concerns, hello@therefinednetwork.com. Can't wait to see you soon.